The Amazon worker literally was on a porch and he was going to pass out from the heat. This is a big issue. It's just not Amazon drivers, it's UPS drivers, right? I suffer from heat illness and it knocked me out for 2 months. It wasn't a good feeling, you know?
Are you on? Which side are you on?
Hey guys, this is Will from Teamsters Local 396.
Hey, Will, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, for sure, man. I just want to say that that your show is one of the most important shows that I found on the internet, and you guys highlighting what's going on in the South is one of the most important projects for labor to have. So, shout out to you guys and cheers for that. And
thank you.
Also, cheers for you having this platform and letting us speak. Right. I heard a lot of Teamsters. You know, we're actually workers talking to each other today. So that is awesome.
Right.
You know, that's number one. Yeah, and I just want to tell that guy that called in earlier that I just literally live down the street from the Commerce Warehouse for Smart and Final, and I will be I have a Smart and Final that just opened up in my town, and one of the clerks there is trying to organize the store, and so we'll see what happens with that. And I talk to her all the time, and we're in contact with each other. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what to do or how to point her into the direction of 630. But we'll see what we can do now that I heard the story, because what they're doing to these what they did to these Teamsters is very egregious, and I find it very disgusting.
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
just a really disgusting story. I'm serious. I'm not going to shop there, and I'm going to tell my family members not to shop there anymore. And I don't understand too why what happened to an injury to one is an injury to all, right? We should have more, the Teamsters as a whole, should be mobilizing against stuff like this. We should be out there picketing these stores. You know what I mean? But we're not. I know we're all busy, right? We have campaigns all over the place. We have our contract campaign right now, and we have the Amazon workers, and shout out to all the Teamsters that are holding it down throughout California. I think there's three warehouses now that are on ULP strikes. So shout out to all those people. And we need to get more active and more militant, across the board. But so, anyways, I want to go back to the contract, and I just want to echo what Jose said and what you guys were talking about and saying, we need more transparency in this contract. We want to know what the economic proposals are from our side. We don't know what it is, right? So I think that's a problem, and I think we should work, as a whole, as activists to reform that. That these non-disclosure agreements, I think that's not right, because it keeps us in the dark and it creates, division, and it's just not helpful.
Right.
So that's number one.
Yeah. And I was just going to add there to your point that when there's an absence of information, your mind wanders, and your mind sometimes takes you to bad places. And so people, that's how rumors get going. That's how misinformation gets going. That's how, bad feelings start developing and festering, sometimes even before there's even a reason necessarily, but that's the problem there, because ultimately, as the union, your power comes from your membership. And so if the membership is not in the loop, you're ultimately you're weakening your own power. And so I understand why union leaders sometimes take that approach, but I think they're missing the boat there, because your rank and file membership, when engaged and educated, is the most powerful force you have.
Yeah, and somebody mentioned Jane McAlevy's new book about bargaining strategies. At some point this summer, I think I'd like to bring her on the show to talk about that.
Because that would be interesting.
There's some really good, it seems to me there's some really good advice in there, and it makes a lot of intuitive sense. Just being open with folks, our members and our brothers and sisters in our union. We're adults. Sometimes we're going to disagree about this or that or the other thing in the contract. We may disagree about the importance of a certain clause, but I do think that free and open debate about those things is going to be better and healthier for the union than not. So.
Yep, I agree. I think open bargaining is the great McAlevey says right in her book is the way to go. But I just want to real quick before I let you guys go. There was a story coming out of Texas, right? And it was an Amazon worker that literally was on a porch and he was gonna pass out from the heat. So this is a big issue. I mean, and it's just not Amazon drivers, it's UPS drivers, right? I suffer from heat illness and it knocked me out for 2 months, and it wasn't a good feeling, you know? And, you know, the pandemic as well, it's really hit our bodies. That's another thing nobody's talking about, right? The effects of the pandemic on people, right? And this country did a bad job of diagnosing people if they had COVID or not. You know, a lot of people don't know that they caught the disease, you know, but you know, they're still working in these conditions, right? It attacks your brain, it attacks your cardiovascular system, right? And you're out there working in 100 degrees, and especially in the truck where it could reach up to 150 degrees in the back. I mean, that's a problem. You know, we need to negotiate our contracts and put more health and safety inside of them, you know? And I'm hoping the Teamsters, you know, are you know, once we take a look at the contract and it's released to us, that those health and safety issues are addressed. But yeah, that's a big concern for me, because in Southern California it gets super hot. I know in the South too it gets super hot, you know. And we need more than just like a couple 15-minute breaks and a lunch sometimes, because we're out there for 10 hours, you know, or 12 hours. You know what I mean? In the heat. So that's a big, huge issue for me. And those are some of the things that we're struggling with right now. You know what I mean? And not to mention that climate change and global warming is changing the world in the way, you know, we're going to do business in the future. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, having air conditioning in the trucks is a good step forward. But like, you know, we said before, I mean, UPS is going to drag its feet and replacing the trucks. I've seen it before. I'm driving a truck right now. It's probably like 10, 15 years old. You know what I mean? And they just put a fan up there that blows hot air at me all day long. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's not really going to be much of a help, you know, until we get those ACs in there. And though, yeah, so that's a big issue for me. I mean, also, like Jose was talking about earlier, cardinal sin language. That's a big issue for me, especially related to the heat, right? I mean, once you exhausted your 2 15-minute breaks and it's 115 degrees out there, and you're like, you feel dizzy and your mouth is dry, and you pull over and go to the store, get yourself a bottle of water or some Gatorades or whatever, the manager is going to see right there, hey, you know, why were you, what's this? Why were you there for 5 minutes? What's going on? Right. You know, and not to mention, guys, the amount of harassment that this company inflicts on its workforce is unreal, unbelievable, right? With the camera, the invasive technology they have in there, you know, they know if your seatbelt's on or off. They know how many times you open and close your bulkhead door. They know, they know everything, right? And I think that, you know, this technology, I mean, AI is hitting everybody, right? And I just got hit with the AI infraction myself at work, right? And it was a ridiculous infraction that the manager told me, right? Confronted me about. I was going on to, you know, driving down the street, and as a professional driver, I'm trained to stop before a stale green, what they call a stale green light. Right. So was it the smoothest braking I ever did? Probably not. But was it a hard brake? No, it wasn't. But the AI thought it was, and so there I am on report. And guess what? I don't know if we could say this, but I'm on the shit list. Yeah. You know, the next day. You know what I mean? Right. That's the kind of stuff that UPSers face on a daily basis. You know, not to mention unfair production standards, right? Some of us are going out with 200 deliveries in our trucks with 150 degrees in the back of the truck. And not to mention some of those packages, I mean, they're just not like little 1-pound bags that you get from Macy's. Right. We're delivering I've delivered refrigerators. I've delivered whole beds. You know, the bed frame probably weighs like 100 pounds. I mean, these are the issues that UPS workers face on a daily basis, you know, and like I said, the stealing time stuff when we need to pull over and after we exhausted all our breaks after a 10, 12-hour day needs to be addressed. You know, it just has to. And like, also one last thing with this cardinal sin stuff, what's to keep UPS from firing activists like myself or Jose or anybody else, you know, because, you know, we're just trying to exercise our human right and dignity to get a drink of water or whatever. You know what I mean? I mean, those are things that we need to look at in this contract that are very important. So, you know, hey guys, I really appreciate your time. I gotta get out of here. I got something to do right now, and I really appreciate you guys and what you guys are doing. Really much love for the show, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, brother, appreciate it, and thanks for hanging on the line.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you.
You got it, guys. We'll talk to you later.
All right, talk soon.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, really appreciate that. And yeah, the heat is such an issue. As someone who was working in the heat this week.
Yeah, me too. You were having to work outside, but my AC wasn't working great, and it got up to 80 degrees in my house, and I was sweating, writing up a grievance yesterday.
Well, boo fucking who for you. And it was a little bit higher than 80 outside yesterday. We had a heat advisory here in the Tennessee Valley yesterday, and I believe other days this week. I know I was out with my IATSE 900 sisters and brothers on Wednesday and Friday. We were working at the amphitheater. That's outside, right? And so it was really hot.
Yeah.
Very hot. And, it was hard to stay hydrated, hard to just stay okay. And, we had to look out for one another. But the heat is a real big deal, and that's something that is, becoming a bigger deal every year, it seems like. And so you mentioned to me off air, heat penalties in the contract.
Yeah.
That's something else that I think, labor has to really be talking about is how do we protect our members from this massive heat, and what can we do to, disincentivize employers from putting us at risk when it comes to the heat. So, I think that's an important discussion as well. So, yeah, I've loved the calls. Thanks, Will, Jose, Brandon, everybody who called in. Really appreciate y'all doing that. It was great to hear some rank and file perspectives about what's going on, because, you can pick up a piece here and there from the media or, from leadership. But, we tuned into the press conference, and, of course, there was a lot that President O'Brien didn't get into, obviously.
Right.
So it's been great to hear some of these details, and I'm sure folks listening have also probably appreciated getting some inside accounts of this Teamsters UPS struggle.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.